One of the hardest realizations a man will ever face in dating is that words can lie, but energy never does. A woman can tell you she likes you, she can flatter you, she can say all the right things to keep you engaged, but none of it means anything if her actions don't back it up. Many men get swept away by the sweetness of her words or the surface-level attention she gives, because in that moment it feels good to believe it's real. But when you step back, you start to see the cracks. She may laugh at your jokes, spend time with you, even act affectionate, but if her consistency, her enthusiasm, and her emotional investment aren't present, then she was never truly interested in the first place. This is the trap men fall into. They want to believe what's being said instead of what's being shown. They cling to compliments, to kind gestures, to late-night conversations, and convince themselves it means she feels the same way they do. But attraction isn't in the words, it's in the energy she gives when you're not asking for it. It's in whether she prioritizes you without being reminded. It's in whether her actions carry the same weight as her promises. The truth is, men fall for what they hear while women fall for what they feel. If she didn't feel that spark, that undeniable pull, then everything else she gave you was performance. Her smile, her time, her polite interest, all of it was a mask covering indifference. And deep down, you probably felt it. You sensed the hesitation in her tone, the emptiness in her words, the distance behind her eyes. You wanted to ignore it because facing it meant admitting the hardest truth: she was never really into you, no matter what she said. The signs were always there, but most men choose not to see them because they don't want to accept what those signs really mean. The first and most obvious one is inconsistency. When a woman is genuinely into a man, her energy doesn't swing back and forth like a pendulum. She doesn't shower him with attention one day and then disappear the next. If she was hot and cold from the beginning, it wasn't because she was confused or busy, it was because she was never all in. Desire doesn't vanish overnight, and interest doesn't need to be reminded to show up. A woman who is drawn to you makes her presence known, every single time. Another sign is that she never made space for you in her life. Think about how many times you asked to see her and she had an excuse. How often she claimed to be too tired, too busy, or already booked, yet somehow always found time for the things and people she actually wanted. A woman who cares will bend her schedule. She'll stay up late after work just to hear your voice. She'll rearrange her plans because spending time with you feels more important than sleep or routine. If she didn't carve out space for you, it's because you weren't a priority. Then there's the energy she gave when you were together. Did she light up when you walked into the room, or did she seem neutral, almost like being with you was just another task on her list? A woman's body language never lies. If she leaned in, if her eyes followed you, if her laughter was genuine, you could feel her excitement. But if she was distracted, scrolling on her phone, giving short replies, or acting as if she'd rather be somewhere else, then her lack of desire was written all over her. Men overlook this because they hope her words outweigh her behavior. But the reality is simple: if you had to question whether she was happy being with you, that was already the answer. She wasn't. Effort is one of the clearest reflections of how much a woman truly desires a man. It is easy to get caught up in what she says, but her level of effort always tells the truth. Think back carefully: did she ever initiate with you, or were you always the one reaching out, starting conversations, planning the dates, and carrying the energy forward? Many men make the mistake of believing that their effort can cover for her lack of investment. They keep giving, keep chasing, keep proving themselves, hoping she will one day respond in equal measure. But attraction doesn't work like that. When a woman truly wants you, she can't help but put in effort of her own. She doesn't wait to be chased, she meets you halfway, sometimes even more. You can see it in the little things. A woman who is invested will surprise you, even with something small. She'll send you a message out of nowhere just to let you know she's thinking of you. She'll suggest plans instead of always waiting for you to make the move. She'll carve out time for you when it isn't convenient, because she doesn't want to go too long without seeing you. When a woman is drawn to a man, she invests energy into building and nurturing that connection. She doesn't give him the bare minimum. She gives him signals, consistency, and effort that make him feel chosen. But when she was never really into you, you likely noticed that everything felt one-sided. You were the planner, the driver, the giver. She showed up when it suited her, and nothing more. That silence and her effort was her answer, even if you didn't want to hear it. You can't negotiate desire. You can't beg someone to invest. If she gave you crumbs when you were offering her a feast, the truth is simple, she was never hungry for you in the first place. The harshest reality most men avoid is that when a woman is never truly invested, her actions reveal it in ways that are impossible to ignore once you stop making excuses for her. Start with the simple question, did she ever fight for you? If you pulled back or went quiet, did she chase after you, check in, or try to bridge the gap? Or did she let you drift away without a word, almost relieved at the silence? A woman who values a man doesn't let him go without resistance. She reaches out, she makes an effort to repair things, she shows she cares. If she did nothing, that silence was the loudest truth. Look also at how easily she moved on. Many men convince themselves she'll need time to process the end of things, but if she slipped into another man's arms without hesitation, it tells you she was never fully with you to begin with. Real emotional investment doesn't get replaced overnight. If she replaced you as quickly as deleting and reinstalling an app, then she was detached long before you noticed. That realization stings because it forces you to see that while you thought you were building something real, she had one foot out the entire time. Think about whether she ever talked about other men in your presence. Women who are fully into a man don't even bring up other options because they don't see them. But if she casually mentioned her ex, a male friend, or men who flirted with her, it was a signal. She wasn't locked in on you. She wanted you to know you were never her only choice. And then there's the way she treated your respect. If she flaked, disrespected your time, cancelled without caring, or tested your boundaries constantly, it's because she didn't fear losing you. That's the hardest cut to accept. She didn't value the bond enough to protect it, because deep down, she never saw you as permanent. The peace that follows after she's gone is often misunderstood. At first, it feels like loss, like something important has been ripped away. But with time, you begin to realize that what you lost was not love, it was the illusion of love. You lost the constant anxiety of trying to figure out where you stood with her. You lost the endless second-guessing, the sleepless nights replaying her last message, the confusion of wondering why her words and actions never line up. And in that space, what replaces it is clarity. That clarity feels like freedom, because you finally see that the weight you carried was never a relationship, it was just your effort propping up something that wasn't real. When a woman is never truly invested, her absence doesn't actually change your life in the way you think it will. What changes is your perspective. You stop mistaking chaos for passion. You stop chasing potential, hoping she'll one day feel what she never felt from the beginning. You stop ignoring the obvious signs that drained you for months, maybe years. Instead, you reclaim your energy and start pouring it back into yourself. That shift is powerful. Because when you stop begging for scraps from someone indifferent, you start demanding more from yourself and from anyone who enters your life. The freedom comes in knowing you no longer have to fight for someone's attention. You no longer have to carry the burden of convincing someone of your worth. A woman who is genuinely into you makes it obvious. You don't question it, you don't analyze it, you simply feel it. And that is the lesson hidden in heartbreak. When you finally let go of the illusion, you create space for the kind of connection where you are not tolerated, but treasured. That is the love worth waiting for.